What's up, you guys? It's Jason with RPM, and today we're going to be checking out a new line of products that we are offering, our carbon fiber high flow intakes. First one on the block, Can-Am X3s. We had wanted to build an X3 intake for quite a while. We just needed to get all of the data and get all of our equipment dialed in and lined up to make it possible. We didn't just want to build an intake that just sat in the factory airbox like everyone else has or was just kind of subpar. We wanted to build something that was like truly one of a kind, that truly worked as well. And that's what we did. So this is it. This is our high flow intake. This is bolting up to a stock turbo. And the cool thing about our intakes is you're gonna get two sets of silicone. So guys who are running a slightly larger turbo, we've got another silicone adapter that you can use if you have a slightly larger intake. And what that means is that the intake is never the limiting factor. So when we built this, we didn't just build it for the stock guys. And don't get me wrong, this is a really, really good intake for a stock car, but we wanted to build it for guys with, bigger turbos, a lot more horsepower. We didn't want everyone to find that the intake was the limiting factor to making power. So that's what we did. So our silicone is port matched, means we have a lip in here. The carbon fiber comes up to it and creates a smooth transition and keeps everything moving really smooth. So with that being said, these are all flowed on a flow bench. We use all of our software that we have at our disposal to build really good high quality intakes. We're measuring intake velocity, intake airspeed, volume, not in that order. Usually we start with volume, like how can we make this as big as possible in fitting a factory location? And then how can we increase intake airspeed, and velocity is, making sure that the shape of this thing is perfect. How can we make the air flow smoothly to the turbo and pick up airspeed while it's doing that? So that's what we did. And I'm gonna show you something on how we did that. Let me pop off this air filter real quick. What I'm gonna show you here is how our intake is mating to the factory air inlet box. And what we do is we provide a jig that drops in the factory intake box, locks in, and you use a 4-inch hole saw to cut a new hole. And then we include this rubber isolator for the intake. There's intakes out there where they're just letting stuff bounce around, nothing fits good, it's kind of hacked, and that's what we didn't want to do. This is like top of the line stuff. By enlarging the intake to 4 inches, we were able to increase the volume of air. And that's why we didn't want to use the factory box. We wanted to modify this, increase volume, increase airspeed, and that's what we did. So this is a very well engineered intake. This is not just your typical cold air intake. Guys with aluminum pipe or silicone pipe or whatever they did. This is a truly engineered piece of art, and we're super excited to start offering these to you guys. We're gonna have them for other models available soon, but yeah, this is what it looks like there. So back to this intake. We have this supplied foam piece, drops down in here. As you drop it in, it'll fall into place. And what this does is kind of stops any of the dust and debris coming up through the clutch intakes, and it still allows the clutch intakes to work. So we have that. Then we go on to our air filter. This one's wrapped up in plastic. Let me unwrap it for you guys real quick. There's a lot of companies out there that use whiz-bang air filter this, no-name company that, custom branding this, and all they are is junk air filters. We use S&B air filters. We're super open about that. Like, these are not our air filters, these are S&B. The reason we chose S&B dry air filters is that they have a long standing, more than anyone, dry air filter technology, and their development is just insane. So these air filters do really good. You want to filtrate fine dust particles, sand, obviously dirt, S&B. So we knew we wanted to partner with S&B on this project, and that's what we did, and it's proven time and time again to be a very good decision. So these are our filters. They're readily available for replacements. These are dry, blow the dust out from the inside out. Really, really good dry air filters. We include a RPM pre-filter, so the large sand particles, dirt, dust, we're gonna try to at least stop a lot of it with our hydrophobic pre-filter. So there's that. This intake does require the use of a catch can. We do have the intake air pressure sensor built into it. It's not into the silicone, it's into the intake itself. We can make the airflow smoother doing that. Stainless steel worm gear clamps, all included. This is a full kit. I mean, you get everything. So this is what your kit's gonna look like. I already got this one torn apart just so I could show you guys the silicone, but let's drop this back in. And when you open your box up, it's gonna look a little something like this. You're gonna get your foam, you've got your air filter pre-filter, you're gonna have your S&B air filter and your different silicones. Most guys are gonna be on a stock turbo. We do have the larger silicone that's included. That's just, if you don't need this, no worries, toss it in the trash or throw it on the bench. You can get some extra clamps with it. These are not just worm gear clamps either. These are some really high-end stainless clamps. They are worm gear, but what makes these different is this metal ring that helps distribute pressure evenly across the silicone, and they kind of bites into the silicone, creating a really good seal. So super high-end clamps included. You're gonna have your jig for drilling your 4-inch hole. This will drop into the air box. It locks in on a piece that's already there, and then you use this as your pilot hole to drill a 4-inch hole in there. If you don't have a 4-inch hole saw drill bit, you have the ability to select that you would like to purchase one with your intake. We have super affordable drill bits. We're not trying to mark it up just to that tool. If you don't have one, you have the ability to get one. Super easy to drill, it's super easy to do, super easy modification. This is the work of art right here. This is your carbon fiber intake. As you can see, we have our rubber isolator ring on there. This ring is gonna go right about here. Secures the intake into the air box, stops any rattling, banging around, just keeps everything super clean, tight fit. As you can see, like this exterior ribbed stuff, this is actually an air filter limiting line, so the air filter can't go past it. Keeps fitment really clean because this will fit underneath the factory intake lid on the bed of the car. So this is what it looks like. Obviously it's super lightweight, but the carbon fiber is a super trick. So all right, guys, so this is the factory location that the air would normally intake on your X3, and with the cold air intake, you can see, voila. So if you want to leave the lid off, kind of show off your bling, you have the ability to do that. But if you're in some dusty, dirty conditions, or maybe you've got a little sleeper car, you can throw this thing back on there and yeah, keep it all hidden. This is it installed. It's kind of what it looks like. Don't have a whole lot to show you. All the beauty is hidden. But we're gonna peek through between the seat access cover, and you can see the carbon fiber. You can kind of see it's buried back in there. We have it mated. This is our test car, so we dyno the intakes and all of our other parts on a stock turbo, and we also dyno all of our intakes, exhaust, and everything on a Zona XR42. This is it on an XR42. As you can see, we're utilizing the slightly larger silicone coupler. This is it. Everything's in the factory location. Super clean. It was a super easy install. I think just about anyone can do this in their garage in a very short amount of time. Huge horsepower gains. So, all right, guys, that's a wrap of our intake. If you had any questions, let me know. As far as horsepower gains, it's all over the board. Anyone running this intake is likely running a different exhaust, different tune, different something than anyone else. So it's hard really to pin down like, oh, you're gonna see this much gain, but the gains are huge. So if you're running a stock airbox, ditch it, run this, you're gonna pick up a significant amount of power. Our gains have been all over the board. Like I said, we tune on stock cars and pump gas. We switched to E85 with the stock turbo. We'll do the XR42 on pump gas, E85. So we've never seen a loss of power. We'll take a bone stock car on a bone stock turbo, even the 120 horsepower cars, drop just the intake on it, and we'll see like pretty significant gains of horsepower. So this intake, super stellar. We're super excited to release it to you guys. And of course, we've got them coming for other cars. Be patient. That's that, you guys. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments. We're pretty active on social media, YouTube. Pick them up, rpmsidebyside.com, or any of our dealers worldwide. So this is the air filter. Removed it from the car. As you can see, this thing is literally just packed. I mean, dust is like a lot of dust. I want to show you something real quick. So the inside of this air filter, completely clean. Let me get in the light a little more. So you can kind of see in there. And what that means is there's no dirt, no dust, no silt getting past the pre-filter and air filter. These dry extendable filters from S&B, they're top notch. So here we go. I'm just gonna barely tap this filter. I just wanna see, look at all the dirt falling off. This thing is packed full of dirt. Are you getting that? Are you seeing that? That's crazy. Dirt is just, and we can wipe this filter. You can see, well, first off, you just go like this, more dirt. I mean, it's crazy. This is a dry extendable. You could blow this out and keep going. Oh man, that's wild. My point is that the inside of the intake, completely spotless. These are very high quality air filters. I don't care what anyone's running, what they're saying. S&B makes a very, very good dry extendable air filter. I think the proof is right there. We did this same kind of test and inspection on the 1,000-mile air filter. We obviously didn't have film available when we were in Baja doing that, but when we took it off the car, of course we shook it out. First thing we did was like, is there anything in the intake? Bone dry, spotless, not a single dust particle in there. And we knew we were onto something testing with S&B. We tested other air filters too. And we were in Baja, we tested other air filters. We know what other people's air filters are doing. We know what other brands are doing. We chose S&B because they're the best. And we'll stand behind them any day of the week. So that's kind of a little quick video on our S&B filters and why we use them for our cold air intakes.